Hi guys, and welcome back for another video here at Ricky's Vape Spot. Today we'll be taking a look at the Siren by Digiflavor. So the Siren is actually a pretty unique tank, given that the chamber where the coil sits is actually in the middle of the tank itself. So we do have some wicks coming from underneath, from the bottom of the tank up into the chamber and then into the coil. First of all, what it does is actually it sets your coil a little bit closer to your mouth, so you get a reduced chimney section here in order to get better flavor. And second of all, what at least I think it does, it lets you use up all your juice. Third, also one of the more important things is it actually prevents type of leaking, especially when filling the tank. So I think it's a pretty cool and I would even say unique design. I got this tank in from the fine folks at parilica.hr, so a big thank you to them. As well as with this tank, I will use today's liquid from Sweet Cream Famous. This is supposed to be some type of a tobacco-y, cookie, nutty, dried fruits vapes, and I have to say I really like it, but we'll talk a little bit more about it later on in the video. For now, let's go down to the table. First of all, do an unboxing, put a build inside, and then we'll go back to top, have a little vape, and talk a little bit more about it. Okay guys, and here we are up close and personal with the Digiflavor Siren. This is how it looks from the front. We have Digiflavor on the front here. Siren 22, so this is a 22mm tank, GTA. Digiflavor website here. On the back we do have some package information as well as company infos, and here down on the bottom there's a scratch and check authenticity code, some social media and warnings here, Digiflavor on this side, and that's basically about it. So let's open this up, and here is the box itself. Let's open it up, and inside we do get the tank itself, spare glass, and this is another mouthpiece here in case you want to switch it out. This is the tank itself. Let's see what comes underneath. And underneath we do have some extra O-rings, tools for changing the coils and stuff like that, as well as some spare screws here. So we'll keep this inside for now. And let's take a look at the tank itself. So on the top we do have a removable drip tip. This can actually be replaced with the smaller drip tip right here, should you want to do so. Actually, let's keep this one in. The black one is more narrow than the white one, so in case you want to go with some reduced airflow, I think this might be the option for you. And as I said, they do say this is supposed to be a nice mouth to lung tank, so we'll check that out in a second. Let's open it up from the top. Threads are okay, a little bit crunchy, but I guess that's until we start using it. This is the glass tank. On the bottom here we do have adjustable airflow. This one does click into place, so we'll check the airflow out a little bit later. Let's try and unscrew that one. Okay, and as soon as we pop this one out, we can see that the base here is unscrewing from this center chimney section here, and underneath we do have the deck itself. Here we do have an O-ring, and you want to check that this one absolutely stays in place, because otherwise you're gonna have some leaking. And that's about it. Like this, you can actually also remove the glass from this tank section here. Just try and do that really quickly for you, like so. Up here you will find another O-ring. I'm not sure if you can see that. Yep. So this one just pops in like so. In case you should ever break your glass, you can just replace it with the spare one that comes inside. This is the deck section. As you can see, this one is lifted up a little bit, and that's because the wicks will come down to your base right here, and then it will suck up all the juice into your coils. Another interesting part in this design here is that we do have this center air diffuser here. This can be actually unscrewed like so. and you're left with I think it's a 4.5 millimeter air hole on the center. So this is a single coil deck, as you can see. We do have some nice lead catchers. Now this is actually totally reminds me of the way the K-Fun 5 did it. So we do have some outer legs coming. Let me just really quickly unscrew this for you guys. So as you can see, I've unscrewed the screw here, and we do have those legs coming out here helping you catch the wire, and this is definitely something that I saw on the K-Fun 5, and I have to say this works really well for catching your leads. So let's put the screw back in here, and as you can see, the center post here is gold plated, as well as the bottom screw right here. I suppose that should help you with your connectivity. Let's open this one up too. And what I will do today actually is I will leave the air diffuser in, because I'm actually more interested in how this one will perform as a mouth to lung tank. So you can simply grab it and then screw it back on. This is actually something I haven't seen anywhere else. There is a lot of 0.5 millimeter holes that help you diffuse the air that comes in from the airflow. And the airflow is actually situated here on the bottom, as I showed you before, and the air is getting sucked in here and then comes right out of the center post. So it's a pretty clever design as of the air diffuser. We'll see how this one works, of course, but I'm having my hopes up. So what we're gonna do next is actually we'll try and put a build inside. So I'm having it on the vapor flask light right now, and it kind of seems like this does have an overhang, and yeah, the vapor flask is pretty beaten up, so but never mind that. Let me just check really quickly. It doesn't say anywhere. So the interesting part actually on the Digiflavor Siren, it doesn't really come with a menu, and I can't really see. It's supposed to be a 22 millimeter tank, but so right now I actually want to put in a coil. I decided I will go with the NIFE wire 0.32 28 gauge NIFE 30 wire, so I will check that out. The resistance on this wire is actually pretty low, but I kind of like the flavor. It does tend to need some more power, but that's okay. So what I found works best with this wire is simply a 3 millimeter diameter with, let's say, 7 reps. 1, and then we'll just pinch it together. So as same as on the K-Fun 5, you can actually go next to the screw and help the screws catch you the leads. Or if you have some bigger builds, you can actually go from the outside and just like let it wrap it around the post. I will go next to the leads because this is just the way I like to do it, like so. And then I will just screw down the screws a little bit, not all the way, so that this one doesn't move. And now I'll just tighten this build. So this post, hold on to it, screw it back in, and then let's turn this one like this, and just get some tweezers, hold on to it like so, and then screw it down tightly. Okay, so as you can see, it didn't have any problems capturing the lead, and I think this is one of the better decks. I mean, I do really enjoy the K-Fun deck itself, and I think this coil is actually now with the 7 reps, it's and the 3 millimeter in diameter. It's gonna sit really nicely above the air diffuser here, and I think that's gonna do a wonderful job. So that's the coil. Let's try and wick this one up. So what you want to do is actually use a little bit more cotton, and then just kind of let the wicks hang down on the side here. So I will take my cotton bacon like so, get this one through here, and then you actually just want to sit it like this underneath. Even if you leave a little bit more cotton, this really won't make any difference. The only thing that you want to take care of actually that those leads are touching the bottom of your tank, because this will help you wick all the juice from your tank. Cut it from this side, and now I'll just gently let this sit to the bottom of the tank like so. And you want to take care that we'll juice it up right now, that none of the cotton gets into your grooves here, because otherwise you're gonna, I think this could potentially mess up your build. Today we'll be using this this e-liquid from France. It's called Famous. So, and this one again you can get at Parilica. So this is a 6 milligram juice. What I'll do now is just slightly tuck in the wick, so once the chamber gets above, it doesn't capture any of the wicking material here. And now let's screw back on the tank itself. The O-ring is here in place. Just make sure it doesn't fall off. So now you take this top section here and then gently place it over the base, and this will actually tighten down your wicking material and just let it sit perfectly here. Now let's fill up the tank itself. And as of leaking, you shouldn't really get any leaking. And then we'll screw back on the top cap. Okay, should work well right now. That's about it. Let's take this back to top and have a vape. So I actually got this build coming out to 0.21 ohms, having it at 30 watts and 410 degrees Fahrenheit with the NIFE wire, and this is working really nicely. The liquid is itself, I actually really like it. It's a dry vape. You do get those tobacco notes with hints of some hazelnuts and other nutty stuff, as well as this bakery type of flavor layering it down. All in all together, it's a really nice and dry tobacco vape. I would say this one goes good with some coffee, tea, or even other desserts you want to have. Really nice. As of the tank itself, I do have to say I really like the way it performs. Although right now, if I have it on the smallest airflow setting here, it's still a little bit too open for me for a comfortable mouth to lung. Although you can get it definitely. What I like to do in order to get this perfect mouth to lung is just get it a little bit over the last hole here, close it off a little bit more. And then this gets much more enjoyable as a mouth-to-lung tank. Since I do have the air reducer installed or the air diffuser installed, even if I take it to the most open setting, I can get a restricted direct lung hit. But definitely, if you're into that, I would leave out the air diffuser inside and definitely go with a 3mm coil in order to get the best performance out of it. Working good. So let's talk a little bit about the specifications for the tank. So this tank does hold 4 mils of e-juice, stainless steel, glass, comes with 2 drip tips, comes with some extra O-rings and some tools to build. And I think you do get a lot of stuff given the price point of this tank, which is actually pretty cheap. This tank does come in 2 different color options. One is the silver or the stainless steel. Another one is a black, so a completely black tank. And also it comes in 2 different size options. So this is, you have the 22mm tank and you have the 25mm tanks. One thing I do want to mention is I have it sitting now on the EVIC VTC Mini here. I did have it on my Vapor Flask Glide, and as you can see, the tank doesn't really screw. I'm not sure, wait, let me get this closer to you guys. As you can see, I have it sitting here and it doesn't really screw down all the way, and I suppose this is mainly given to the longer center post here. So for me, on 2 of my mods, this didn't screw down all the way. what I can do is I can try and put it on my VT75 Nano. So let's screw it on here. Let's check this. If it makes connection as well. Okay, and here it does sit pretty flush. So given that, just be aware of the fact that this does have a little bit of a longer center 510 connection here. So given the airflow, I do have the air diffuser in right now, and it's working really nicely for that mouth to lung hit and the restricted mouth to lung. I would have liked to see maybe another air hole option here, but you can get past that by just reducing the smallest airflow hole here on the back in order to get this comfortable mouth to lung hit. I really like the fact that the companies are getting more back into those mouth to lung tanks, or at least give users an option to use mouth to lung tanks. And this one definitely falls into this category. It's not a complete direct lung hit tank, definitely not, simply because the airflow is not enough for that. But for a mid-range airflow tank, going on the lower side or with restricted airflow, I think this is definitely a nice tank. So if you're into that mouth to lung hit experience, this is definitely a tank for you. As I said, you can get it close enough to get a really nice mouth to lung hit, and you can get it open enough to get a comfortably restricted direct lung hit, if that makes sense to you. Having all that said, the flavor on this, I think it's really nice. So what's left to do is I think we should talk a little bit about the price point. This goes for 269.10 kunas in euros. That's 35.84 euros for this one. The juice itself, so this is a 50 ml bottle, goes for 129 kunas, and the price in euros is 17.18 euros for the 50 ml of e-juice. So if you're definitely into those tobacco-y, nutty, cookie types of vapes, even say hints of vanilla inside, definitely check out this juice. Especially for this mouth to lung experience, it's pretty nice. So having all that said, I would like to say another big thank you to parilica.hr for sending these items my way for the purposes of this review. I hope you found some of those informations useful. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel, that would mean a lot to me. And you can also follow me on my other social media, my Facebook page, my Twitter account, or my Instagram account. Thank you so much for watching. I'm wishing you all a wonderful rest of the day. Let's keep on vaping, and I'll see you again pretty soon.